All right, what's going on, party people? Welcome to status update number 9. I'm Patrick McDonald, your host, your guide, your Sherpa for this endeavor. And this past week in golf, I mean, we got a lot to get to between OWGR and LIV, which I put out my plans for LIV to get OWGR points last week that quickly. That a shelf life of about like 3 hours, maybe. Uh, we got to talk about Scottie Scheffler. Obviously, Rory McIlroy is back in the news for some comments. Shocker. Wyndham Clark. Talk about a week for that guy. Full Swing 2 came out as well last Wednesday. The SSG back in the mix. Jay Bird's talking to the media this week as well. Players Championship week. So, a lot to get into. First, I hope everyone likes this video, subscribes, does that whole dance. And I've gotten a lot of comments lately about my apparel. Some good, one really mean one, which I won't talk about. Those are the ones you remember though. And look, I'm rocking B Dratty. This is the cashmere sweater. And if you want to rock B Dratties, I mean, some of the best looking guys on tour, Patrick Cantlay, Taylor Moore, Brian Harmon, Patrick McDonald, all B Dratty boys, Carson Young. If you want to look like a stereotypical white guy like myself, you can get yourself some gear. Use McDonald 20 at checkout. Pretty much you spend like $500, you get a couple free items. So pretty solid deal in my opinion. I think I'm biased, of course. The corrupt golf media, very biased. Let's talk some golf though. Status update 9, I believe. First thing we got to talk about is obviously the best player in the world. I don't care what rankings you're looking at, data golf, power rankings, OWGR, whatever the hell SI is slinging out these days with distance per shot. He actually might not be leading that one. But Scottie Scheffler, dominant performance this weekend at Bay Hill Club and Lodge. 5-stroke victory, second red cardigan in the last 3 years. Scottie Scheffler back in the winner's circle for the first time in 51 weeks on the PGA Tour. I'm not counting the Hero World Challenge. Apologize to my friends in the Bahamas, but it's obviously the talking point. The club that sticks out is the putter, and I do have some statistics I want to throw your way. I want to toss some knowledge in your direction because Scottie Scheffler came into the week ranked 144th in strokes gained putting. He was more likely to hit a green in regulation. That clip was a little over 80% than make a 4-footer. His make percentage was at exactly 8%. He struggled mightily from very short distance, but when you look at other distance ranges from 5 to 15 feet, he's just about above tour average. From 10 to 15 feet, he's well above tour average. From over 20 feet, he's well above tour average. He's making about 10% of his putts over 20 feet. That was coming into this week. And for putts made per event over 10 feet, you'd be surprised. The leader on the PGA Tour makes about 8 putts over 10 feet per event. You're like, wow, that's really like not a ton. The average is 4.5. Scottie Scheffler makes over 6 putts over 10 feet in each PGA Tour event. Over the last 27 holes at Bay Hill, when he really turned it on, he made 5. He didn't miss a putt inside 15 feet all of Sunday, gained over 4 strokes. So, all this talk about Scottie Scheffler being a bad putter, I am a part of that conversation as well. It really comes down to those short misses. You could almost call them outliers, statistical outliers, because when you miss a putt from 4 feet, you're losing almost a stroke to the field, right? And he's missing 20% of those. That's a lot. That is a lot to miss from 4 feet. But beyond, 10 feet and beyond, he's above tour average before this week. And so I think there needs to be a reset on the conversation, obviously. Scottie Scheffler's not going to gain 5.5 strokes over the weekend in every PGA Tour event moving forward. If he's average, which is really all he needs to be given his tee to green prowess, in the last 19 starts before this victory, 15 top tens, 7 podium finishes. If he's average with the putter, I want an all-time year out of him. I'm hoping for an all-time year out of him. I'm not predicting it, but I am praying for it. We've seen 4-win victories late, 4-victory seasons. Jon Rahm last year, Scottie Scheffler in 22, Cam Smith won 3 times in 22. We've seen 5-win seasons. Justin Thomas in 17, Jason Day, Jordan Spieth. But we haven't seen really anything above that since Tiger Woods and Vijay Singh. And I think given the current landscape of the PGA Tour, whether you want to admit it or not, there's no Jon Rahm, no Bryson DeChambeau, no Brooks Koepka, no Cameron Smith, no Dustin Johnson, no Joaquin the Dream Neiman. Scottie Scheffler, if this putting holds up, which I'm not saying it will, if it does, if it's just average, doesn't have to be 5.5 strokes over the weekend, I want him to burn it all down. I'm not talking about a 4-win season. I'm not even talking about a 5-win season. I'm talking like 7. Give me 7 in a major. Give me 7 in maybe 2 majors, 6 in a couple majors. That is what I want from Scottie Scheffler, because from tee to green, he is just so much better than these guys. And you look at who his competition is currently, who's really nipping at the heels. Wyndham Clark, he has some flaws. Rory McIlroy, he doesn't know how to hit a wedge at the moment. Justin Thomas hasn't won in a very long time. Those are probably the 3. Matthew Pavon. So I think, given the last year, Scottie Scheffler not taking advantage of everything that came his way because of the putter, I hope it all falls his way now. It might not be popular, this opinion. It's probably going to be boring for a lot of people, but I find it extremely compelling when greats, which Scottie Scheffler is trending towards, accomplish great feats. And I think he really has an unbelievable chance to have one of those years. 22 was great, obviously, with 4 wins, but he didn't win past the Masters. 23, great season statistically, but only the only a couple wins. I want 7. I want the head. I want him to burn it all down. Why not? At this point, we've had so many long shot winners on the PGA Tour. They're great stories, don't get me wrong. I love seeing someone like Matthew Pavon, doesn't win on the DP World Tour until this year, wins on the PGA Tour, having a great rookie year. That's great. I love that. Nick Dunlap, of course. Anytime an amateur wins, that is very special. I'm not going to remember Matthew Pavon's Farmers Insurance Open victory. If you do, seek some help in a couple years. I would remember Scottie Scheffler's 2024 if he wins a couple majors and 5 tournaments. So that's what I'm hoping for, because I think it's, like I said, very cool to see great players accomplish great things. And Scottie Scheffler has a great chance to do just that. He might win this week at the Players' Championship. Where he plays well is year in and year out, if you haven't noticed. Phoenix could have won that tournament. Century, he's been great at. API, 2 out of the last 3. And he's defending this week at TPC Sawgrass in the best field in golf. I love it. Keep it going. Speaking of Rory McIlroy, the driver is unbelievable. Don't get me wrong. He's the best driver of the golf ball on the planet at the moment. Gaining strokes off the leading in strokes gained off the tee, I think, in every start of this PGA Tour season. For the rest of his game, bad. But with Rory, we can talk about his game all we want, his chances. We got to talk about what he's talking about. Rory McIlroy said after his third round at the API, talking about kind of the amount of members on the PGA Tour, the state of the PGA Tour. Quote, I guess I haven't thought about it that hard. I guess my thing is I'm all for more cutthroat and more competitive and trying to give pathways to the younger generation. So through Corn Ferry Tour, through PGA Tour U, I just feel like there's a lot of categories on tour that people are sort of still benefiting off what they did like 5 or 10 years ago. I feel like the most competitive professional golf tour in the world, you should have to come out and prove yourself year after year after year. End quote. Rory McIlroy has played well enough over the last decade plus to say stuff in the media. And I actually agree with him in this quote because you look at some of the exemptions into tournaments, priority listing, you see that Jason Duffner, who's played one time on the PGA Tour, has had a higher priority per their rankings, which I don't totally understand because I don't really I haven't really cared that much about it. But you look at Jason Duffner, and it's a weird way of saying he was injured before Tommy Fleetwood and Cameron Young that week. And I know you guys, neither of those guys have won on the PGA Tour. Jason Duffner has. He's won a major championship. But I was like 4 when that happened. And so I do agree with Rory from that respect. A lot of the priority, the listing to get in, it needs a little revamp. So I'm cool. I don't know if it needs to be 100 cards or whatever. I think the signature events this week at the API, you had a 69-man field. You had Nick Dunlap playing by himself for 2 days. What are we doing? For the signature events, I understand you want to reward the best players in the game. But a 69-man field when you're cutting like a few people, what are we doing, you guys? Let's update this to 100 guys, nice and even. You can get creative with the pathways in and out. The Aon Swing 5, Aon will sponsor everything. The Aon Risk Reward Challenge, the Aon Next 10. Shout out to Aon. 100 guys, cut to top 50 in ties. Those are the best tournaments. They're nice, they're tight, they're compact. You can get everyone done before the sun goes down. 69. It's not good. It's not good. They're trying to manufacture stories that some of the players just can't cash at the moment with these small fields. They're trying to manufacture a Rory McIlroy win, a Justin Thomas comeback, Victor Hovland re-entering the winner's circle. And we have seen, right? I mean, Chris Kirk won the first one. That was a smaller field. Wyndham Clark, a great third round 60. That was a weird event with 54 holes. He wins. And then Scottie Scheffler dominates this week. But you can see the PGA Tour pretty much trying to manufacture, trying to give away victories to some of these guys with how small these fields are. And I think that's wrong. I think it should be 100 people, cut it in half at the halfway point, go from there. Those are the best tournaments, in my opinion. More or less what the Masters does with their field. They're rarely over 100. It's like 90, and you cut top 10, top 50 plus 10 stroke rule. I digress. What a week for Wyndham Clark, by the way. Runner-up finish at the API. Big game hunter. He had a real chance to clock his 4th victory in less than 12 months. With those coming at Quail Hollow, the Wells Fargo Championship, LACC, the U.S. Open, and the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro at, well, Pebble Beach. His 4th nearly came at Bay Hill. Would have been a hell of a start. Hell of a start to a resume. He made a lot of fans this week too. Full Swing 2 came out. Wyndham Clark talked about his mental struggles, how it hindered him early in his career, and a new mental coach unlocked his potential with a great season. And then on Saturday, Wyndham Clark attacks Bay Hill with a wedge on number 9. Didn't like his lie in the fairway, plugged a little bit, couldn't get relief. He was in a divot. Takes a long time on the greens with his caddy, John Ellis, who's a very nice guy. Has a rules controversy on the 18th. He's batting the ball down with his wedge. Took it very aggressive. Whether the ball moved or not, that's up to your own eyes. Randall Chambly came at him. He's definitely cheating. Wyndham Clark said, "I'm not a crook." Ultimately, no penalty. Post round, he says, they asked him about Rory McIlroy's quotes. He says, "I think it'd be amazing if our tour was 100 guys, and I've said this a few times, 100 guys, and we have 20 guys that get relegated every time, every year. Doesn't matter who you are, and I think that'd be exciting because you come down to the end of the year, people are looking, who's going to win the FedEx? And then you're looking at who's not going to be here next year. So yeah, I'm probably with Rory on that. I don't know what the number is, but I think it's just nice to elevate the product and make it to where the best players are playing on TV more often and against each other." Wyndham Clark is not Rory McIlroy. Wyndham Clark wasn't a top 100 player in the world until what, a few years ago? And so Wyndham Clark took heat for this, right? What's the phrase? Don't burn the bridges you go up, or something like don't pretty much don't burn bridges. People were upset. How could you? Do you remember where you came from? He wouldn't have said this 2 years ago. No shit. And it's really because Wyndham Clark's not Rory. He hasn't built up that status. He's been great the past year, but before that, not so much. Do I disagree with Wyndham Clark? Honestly, like not really. I'm all for, giving out more people PGA Tour cards. Not whatever, give it to whoever, honestly, at this point. But I think when it comes to, I think you can take his logic and apply it to the main events. I think if you miss a cut in the signature event, honestly, you shouldn't be in the next one either. Just throwing that out there too. Matt Fitzpatrick, he's missed both. I've bet on him both times. There might be a correlation there. Like Colin Morikawa doesn't break 80 in round 2. Sorry, bud. You're not in the next one. Let's get more cutthroat, right? You miss a cut in these signature events where like 8 guys missed the cut, 10 guys missed the cut. Get them out of here. See you later, alligator. I digress. But Wyndham Clark, right? I think we can use his logic of wanting only 100 guys and 20 relegation. You don't have to do it to the entire tour. Let's use that logic for signature events instead. Not just 5 guys through the Aeon Swing 5. Let's get 20 guys out of there. You missed the cut, you're gone out of the next one. You don't play well, you're gone out of the next one. I think that's how you got to look at that. 100 guys in signature event fields. You make the cut, you're in the next one. You miss the cut or whatever, have a point system, you're not in the next one. I think that would be much better, to tell you the truth. It'd be compelling. PGA Tour wouldn't like it because, like I said, you want to have Colin Morikawa in the next one. You want to have Matt Fitzpatrick in the next one. Ludwig Oberg nearly missed the cut as well. But I think that's the way. That's the way I'm looking at it. All right, so let's get into season 2 of Full Swing. I watched the entire thing. I didn't watch the Matt Fitzpatrick episode, to tell you the truth. I like him. I mean, what do I have to learn? He has a little brother who's also good at golf. He won the U.S. Open. I saw that last year. He's gonna battle something. I don't know. I didn't watch that one. Winners and losers from Full Swing season two. Winner, Tom Kim. I loved Tom Kim in season two. I thought he was hilarious. I thought his first showing at Augusta National was unbelievably relatable. Like that is some shit I would do. You park in the Champions parking lot. Scottie Scheffler points at the sign. It's like, hey, dude, you're in my parking spot. He walks into the Champions locker room. He goes, oh, I don't think I should be here. He orders a pimento cheese. He talks about how he's a foodie. But I think Tom Kim, when he says foodie, I think he just means he likes to eat food. He's eating in his car. He's talking about monkey brain, how he kind of wants a McFlurry. He talks about how he has a piece of chocolate waiting for him after his victory at the Shriners. So I think Tom Kim came across very relatable and in another sense, very determined. We saw a side of him that I don't think many fans know. How he wants to prove himself, how the jokes about him being a kid are kind of, catching up to him, getting on his nerve a little bit, and how internally he doesn't really think he's as good as what other people project. I mean, he's a young buck. He's still 21, three times a winner on the PGA Tour, a runner-up at the Open, had a very nice major championship record, played well in his Masters debut, T16. And so I thought Tom Kim was one of the winners. One of the losers, Zach Johnson, maybe the loser of Full Swing season two. When you are accused of being a member of the boys club, it is never a good look when you go to the Open Championship, the last major before the Ryder Cup, and you share a house with Jordan Spieth, Ricky Fowler, and the controversial pick at the time, Justin Thomas. And you got Zach Johnson sitting there, backwards hat. How do you do, fellow kids? Meme turned reality. And he's talking about Justin Thomas like he's Michael Scott. J Tizzle, JT. Ugh, what can I say about this guy? Justin Thomas knows he might be playing in the Ryder Cup. He might not be playing in the Ryder Cup. Zach Johnson does not come across well. He comes across as unprepared. Michael Scott, more or less. And I love Michael Scott. But I came away from the episode thinking that is my parallel to Zach Johnson in his captaincy for the U.S. Ryder Cup team. He was more or less Michael Scott of the hit show The Office. Justin Thomas also featured heavily again, second straight year. I don't think he came across super well either. I get the Mito thing. I think if you find that funny, that's great. If you think Justin Thomas is a dick because of it, I think that's fair too. But I think he tries really hard to be cool and likable and like say funny stuff in a manner that is almost unnatural for him. He's not like Max Homa. Max Homa's quick, witty, gets to the point. He offends his friends, right? You don't punch down. Max Homa doesn't punch down when he's making jokes, right? Like everyone in the situation knows what they're signing up for. With the swing videos, you could say he's punching down there, but they sign up for that. When it comes to like peers, he's not punching down. Punching down's not really a great look. I think that's what JT did with Mito, which, I mean, funny, yes. Douchey, yes. Both can be true. Both are true. What else happened in Full Swing? Keegan Bradley. Keegan Bradley. Oh, I didn't even want him on the team, but I think moving forward, the U.S. Ryder Cup team, if Keegan Bradley doesn't make it as a player, just put him in a leadership position. We need, we, the Americans, we need that type of passion that Keegan Bradley has. The do or die on every single shot. Oh, how he thought he made it after his win at the Travelers. It was crushing to watch. It was like watching a car crash happen in slow motion because you knew what was going to happen. We'd seen it in real life. We didn't see it behind the scenes. So, Keegan Bradley, put him on whatever team moving forward in whatever capacity. If he's playing well, put him as a player. If he's not, put him in the leadership room. We need new blood anyways. Excuse me. LIV Golf Hong Kong also took place this week. Joaquin the Dream Neiman. Great performance again. Shoots 63 on Sunday, Saturday, final round. One stroke out of the playoff. Abe Ancer kind of threw up on himself a little bit in the final round. I think he was five clear. Needed a playoff to beat Paul Casey and Cameron Smith. Great to see Cameron Smith finding a little form too, especially ahead of Augusta. A lot of these LIV guys, if you're not paying attention, are playing some pretty good golf. You have Cameron Smith, who's always a threat at Augusta National. It's a great course fit for him. Playoff loser in Hong Kong. Joaquin Niemann, obviously a great start to the season. Dustin Johnson's a winner already this season on LIV. Bryson DeChambeau is putting together a nice, really early start. John Rahm, always going to be a factor. Brooks Koepka, quietly, before this week, he had put together three straight top 12s, hadn't shot around over par. And this is a guy who normally starts slow. So a little revenge factor with the runner up there at the Masters last year. Quietly playing some very good golf is Brooks Koepka. Anthony Kim also played some pretty good golf this week as well. Beat Phil in round one. That's not what I'm talking about. I was, I guess, kind of punching down there. Hypocrite. But 65 in the final round. Terrific. Terrific. That's unbelievable. 12 years removed. After five rounds, he's already shooting 65. It's great. So I'm very happy for Anthony Kim. I hope he continues to play well. And that is that. LIV Golf is off until the week before the Masters. We are 1 month away from the Masters as of recording this on Monday, the 11th of March. 3 days until Pi Day as well. So we got that going for us. I hate pie. It's horrendous. Why have pie when you could have cake? I think people fake their loving of pie. Apple pie. Why would you want fruit as a dessert? Blueberry pie, peach pie, pumpkin pie. Ew, dog. Uh-uh. Chocolate cake, yellow cake, chocolate icing, red velvet, ice cream cake, Carvel. What am I, 12? Yes, that rhymed. Out on pie. I think people are faking it. There's some corporate news as well when it came to professional golf. PGA Tour Enterprise announced their board for, I guess, PGA Tour Enterprises. They announced their board this weekend, and it's not a total surprise who is on it. 13 board members: Tiger Woods, Jordan Spieth, Webb Simpson, Patrick Cantlay, Adam Scott, Peter Malnati. Those are the player directors. Tiger Woods was named vice chairman. As for the suits, Sam Kennedy of the Boston Red Sox, Cohen of the Mets, Arthur Blank, Falcons owner, John Henry, Red Sox, Joe Gorder, who's an independent director on the PGA Tour Policy Board. He's an oil guy. Joe Ogilvy's the player director liaison, old PGA Tour member, now in private equity, venture capitalism. Duke guy, Duke people will let you know about it. Like I did, someone chirped me on the internet this weekend, and it's like he had it was like I could have called it before I looked at his profile, like UVA 2012, buddy. But you're in your mid 30s, and you have in your bio your alma mater and the year you graduated. It's time to grow up, get a new identifier, right? I don't like to push people in a corner with what they want to go by, but for that I will. If you're anything, honestly, if you're out of college and you have your alma mater in any of your bios for social media, you need to take a long, hard look in the mirror. It's time to grow up. It's time to grow up. So he went to Duke, and then the CEO, Chief Executive Officer, per the internet, the masterclass in failing up, Jay Monahan. Ladies and gentlemen, Jay Monahan, CEO of the PGA Tour Enterprises. If you remember from the original framework agreement, Yasser was supposed to be in the mix. A DP World Tour representative was supposed to be in the mix. I don't think they're necessarily done with this. I think they could possibly be leaving a few spots open on this. Maybe we'll hear about it from Jay Monahan. He speaks at 11 a.m. Tuesday. So we will have a lot to talk about that. But I think there's some wiggle room. I don't know if they're even talking at this point, to tell you the truth. I'm the idiot who was optimistic that all three sides would come together. But I think there's going to be concurrent tours for the next few years, at least, which I did say on a CBS affiliate there in Scottsdale when they had me on TV for them. Some other housekeeping, OWGR and LIV, like I said at the top. LIV pulls their OWGR application. I got roasted on the internet. Roasted for I think I know why. I led with criticizing LIV. I should have led with criticizing the OWGR. No one thinks the OWGR is complete. Like Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, they're at worst top 50 players in the world. Not top, they're outside the top 200. Joaquin Niemann, let's give him top 15 at the moment. I'm building some leeway for myself. I don't want people, he's top two, he's top two. He could be, sure, but let's say top 15. Let's be conservative. I don't think that's in question. I think that's known. We're talking based on that being a fact. What I said was, and I led with the LIV side, I don't think LIV put their best foot forward when it came to trying to get OWGR points. If their top priority was getting OWGR points, they would have made a better effort. That is all I said. And I said, if the OWGR, if their top priority was making sure LIV would get OWGR points and we could properly rank their players, they would have made a better effort. Neither side made an effort to get the job done. And that's where we are at. I stand by that take. I think that is more or less a fucking fact. And people are coming at my neck. Come on, son. You're a neck. That is ridiculous. Like I I threaded the needle, I thought, so perfectly of being unbiased. I don't care. I have no dog in the fight. Who cares if they get points or not? It'd be nice. LIV boys coming at me. OWGR, PGA Tour boys come at me. And this was a week after I was a LIV shill. Ugh, I can't keep up. I can't keep up. Everyone's a critic. All right, it's 9 a.m. here on the East Coast. I got to wrap this up. Busy week for us in the golf world. Players Championship, Jay Monahan, State of the Union, 11 a.m. Tuesday the 12th. Be sure to tune in. I'm sure Golf Channel will have it. Scottie Scheffler. Burn them all, baby. Burn them all. And we are officially 1 month away from the Masters, like I said at the top. So very exciting. I will not be there at Augusta National. I don't want to talk about it, guys. I'm still dealing with it. I've a lot of long, sleepless, crying nights in my bed for not going. Yeah, yeah. It's a tough scene. It's a tough scene. I'm not happy about it. Okay. For producer Pat, great job on the ones and twos today. You're fantastic. Intern Rick, surprised you made it after your performance in Fort Lauderdale. Cannot believe you went there. Sketchy, dog. Sketchy. We'll talk about it after this. I'm Patrick. This was status update number 9. We'll be catching you guys later.